For 6,000 years, humans and horses have shared a bond that built empires and conquered continents. We've always felt they were smart, but for a long time, science dismissed them as simple flight animals driven only by instinct. But what if I told you that horses can recognize your face from a photograph? That they can ask humans for help using specific gestures? Or that they possess a level of self-awareness previously thought to belong only to dolphins and humans? Today, we are going beyond the stable and into the laboratory to uncover the secret language of horses and the scientific proof that they are much more like us than we ever imagined. Can a horse tell if you're having a bad day before you even say a word? The answer is a definitive yes. Researchers at the University of Sussex conducted a groundbreaking study where they showed horses high-definition photos of humans. When shown an angry face, the horse's heart rates spiked. But here's the kicker. They also showed a left gaze bias. In animals, the right hemisphere of the brain processes negative stimuli, which is connected to the left eye. By looking at the angry photo with their left eye, they were literally filing that person under dangerous. Even more incredible? When those same horses met the actual people from the photos hours later, people who were now acting completely neutral, the horses remembered. They stayed away from the angry people and gravitated toward the happy ones. They aren't just reacting to your mood, they are building a long-term emotional profile of you. For decades, the mirror self-recognition test was the gold standard for animal intelligence. If an animal looks in a mirror and realizes the reflection is themselves, and not a stranger, it proves they are self-aware. In 2021, Italian researchers applied this to horses. They placed odorless, colorful marks on the horse's cheeks that could only be seen in a mirror. The result? The horses didn't try to sniff or attack the other horse. Instead, they spent significant time looking in the mirror and then scratching their own faces against their legs to remove the mark. This puts horses in an elite club of self-aware beings, alongside chimpanzees, elephants, and magpies. It proves they have an I, an internal identity. We often think of dogs as the most expressive pets, but science says otherwise. Using a system called Equifax, Equine Facial Action Coding System, researchers mapped every muscle movement in a horse's face. They discovered that horses have 17 discrete facial expressions. To put that in perspective, humans have 27, chimpanzees have 13, and dogs have 16. Horses use eye-white flashes to signal alarm, ear pinning for frustration, and subtle lip curls to communicate interest. But they don't just use these for each other. Studies show that horses actually increase their facial expressions when they know a human is watching them. It is a deliberate attempt to communicate across species lines. Have you ever felt like your horse was pointing at the grain room? You weren't imagining it. This is called referential communication. In a controlled experiment, horses were given a puzzle they couldn't solve to get to a treat. When a human was in the room, the horses didn't just give up. They would look at the human, then look at the treat, then back at the human. If the human ignored them, the horse would physically move into the human's line of sight and nudge them toward the problem. This proves heterospecific communication. The horse understands that you have the power to change the world in ways they can't. They view us as partners in problem solving, not just as leaders or feeders. The connection is even deeper than sight and sound. It's chemical. Horses have a vomeronasal organ that allows them to smell human emotions. When you are afraid, your body releases chemosignals in your sweat. A horse can pick up on these fear pheromones instantly, which is why they often become nervous when their rider is anxious. And let's look at where it starts. Did you know foals are born with fairy slippers? These are soft, squishy, finger-like capsules over their hooves that protect the mother during birth. They disappear within hours of the foal's first steps. From the very first hour of life, the horse's biology is designed to protect and connect with its mother, and eventually, with us. So, what have we learned? Horses aren't just big dogs or beasts of burden. They are sophisticated, self-aware, emotional geniuses who have been studying us as closely as we've been studying them. The secret language of horses isn't a myth. It's a complex mix of facial micro-expressions, chemical sensing, and cognitive memory. The next time you stand next to a horse, remember, they aren't just seeing you. They are reading your history, your emotions, and your intent. If you found, but their intelligence isn't just directed at us. To understand why a horse is so smart, you have to look at the social brain hypothesis. In the wild, horses live in complex harems or bachelor groups. Survival doesn't depend on strength alone. It depends on politics. Science has shown that horses engage in mutual grooming, not just to get clean, but as a social currency. They remember who owed them a favor and who was aggressive to them months ago. Researchers have observed that horses have best friends within a herd. When these friends are separated, their cortisol levels, stress hormones, skyrocket, even if other horses are still present. To power this intelligent brain, horses have some of the most specialized hardware in the animal kingdom. Their eyes are the largest of any land mammal. Because their eyes are on the sides of their heads, they have a 350-degree field of view. Technically, science has proven they have two blind spots, one directly in front of their nose and one directly behind them. This is why a horse might spook if you touch their face too quickly. You literally disappeared and then reappeared in their vision. We used to think a neigh was just a loud noise, but acoustic analysis has revealed something incredible. Biphonation. A horse's whinny actually contains two independent frequency components. Think of it like a dual tone signal. One frequency tells the herd who is calling, their identity, and the other frequency conveys their emotional state, how urgent the situation is. Science has proven that horses can recognize the voice of a familiar stablemate from a recording, even if they haven't seen them in years. They are calling out with a digital-level precision that contains a name tag and a status report in every breath. When you combine their 360-degree vision, their dual-tone voices, and their ability to read human sweat and facial expressions, you realize the horse isn't just a pet. It is a biological super sensor. Every time you walk into the barn, you are entering a high-speed data exchange. They know you're there before you speak. They know your mood before you smile. And they remember you long after you leave. The secret language of horses isn't magic. It's a masterpiece of evolution.